Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Automating the Trades. This is the second episode in our series where we at the Graphite Lab are going to go through some problems that some of our customers, as well as just some other trades businesses have run into and walk through how to solve them live with you. We are here with Jacob Nolly, who is our CEO and founder, and I'll be running through a list of some of the problems that we've run into and how we think would be the best way to solve them. I'll just start going down the list if that sounds good to you, Jacob.
Awesome. Yeah, excited to hop in.
Perfect. They said, I'm having trouble making sure negative reviews get addressed promptly. I need a way to notify the manager about bad Google reviews by sending an alert to the CSR attention needed chat room. Right now, these reviews might go unnoticed and it's affecting our response time.
Perfect. So a couple of things that are really important with review responding. In particular, I'm going to assume again here where we want to pull these is important. I'm presuming that we're pulling these from Google My Business. It's the most popular. Yelp is another common, but we'll do Google My Business in this situation. There's two really important pieces of, there's really two things that need to really happen every single time a review comes in that's negative. We need to notify the right people that something has happened, and we need to respond. Now, the cool thing about working with the Graphite Lab is that second piece, we actually have a tool that can do that automatically. And so one of the workflows that I would recommend the customer set up in this situation is to use, especially if they're a toolbox subscriber, is to use our review auto response tool to basically create a Google review response. And the cool thing about our auto response tool is it takes in the review context. It takes in the context from the user as to like how they would like to respond to reviews. It automatically does not say anything about price or offering anything for free or doing coupons or anything like that. It just addresses what the person said from an empathetic and professional perspective. And so our auto review tool is really nice because it helps with the SEO and it helps make sure that your customers feel paid attention to as quick as possible. It basically change our input app to Google Business Profile. Basically, you would need to set this up for every individual location. And what you can basically do is a two-step zap here. So the first thing that we're going to do in our first zap is basically anytime a review comes in, the first thing that we are going to do is add it to our review responders tool. So we'll grab the toolbox. So create review response. And then basically what you'll do is you'll put in the review details, the actual text, the review source, the rating. So Google My Business. This is really helpful for a variety of reasons. I'll show you why. The ratings scale. So some review tools are out of 10, some are out of 5, some are out of 3. So this is really helpful so that it knows the context. If it's good, is a 5 good? And if it's out of 10, it's not. So it's really important to know the scale, the name of the reviewer, so that we can actually talk to the person, how long you want the response to be in sentences. So that way we can help make the right length of response. And then the external ID. Now, this is very powerful because this is what allows us to dynamically reference a review after the fact. And so basically, let's say here, Jacob was a nightmare. He lied to me about price, which ended up being so expensive. And he didn't take off his shoes or wear the shoe covers. So let's say that's the review. We would auto-populate it from Google. In this situation, we don't have it. Then what we'll do is we'll say Google. So let's say the rating is a 1 out of 5. Again, we would paste it in from the other tool. The reviewer is Steve Grumberg. The response leaf, let's just say 3. And then the external ID here is you would use the ID of the review inside of Google. And so let's just call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is really awesome. Click continue, click text. And this event, it'll go ahead and add that in there. And if I click over here, you'll see Steve Grumber left a review, 1 out of 5 stars, automatically just shows up in there and we auto-populate into Google. We also populate this in, you can see when it came in and you can see what review they left. You can also see what our response is if you click in. We're deeply sorry to hear about the experience you have with Jacob. It's unacceptable to misinform customers about prices. And we also stress the importance of cleanliness and respect for our clients' homes among our team. We will definitely take note of the situation and work towards improving our services. Now, this is really powerful because, again, we're not talking about price. We're not making any promises. We're just being empathetic to what the customer is flagging. And we're talking about it in the context of what they're saying. There are settings that we can turn on to talk to the actual individual in the review, reference them. reference the actual technicians themselves, on and on. The second step of the Zap is a path. So one of the things that we can do is a filter step here. So every review we want to create a response for. We're happy about that. But then the second thing that we want to do is auto create a filter. So one of the things that we can do here is rating. So if the rating for a Google review is maybe 3 or less, continue. And then what we can do is create a task management task, an email, or whatever notification platform we really would want in order to send that out. Now, let's say we've got this part 1 workflow done. So in this part 1 workflow done, we're adding it to the toolbox. So we can see all of our reviews there. We can create a response to it. And then we're also notifying someone if it's a bad review situation. So you would click deploy. This one Zap is live part 1. Part 2, and often part 2 is required a certain aspect of, we need a trigger after something's happened. We can actually create a trigger off of the toolbox. So with AI, one of the major things, especially in a Gen AI context, sometimes we don't want to just auto respond. Sometimes that's just the situation. We want eyes on it before we auto respond. One of the things that we have here is the ability to approve it before it gets posted back out. And what an approve does is just, we approve that this response is reasonable. We also have edit mode. So we can actually edit the response that we're going to be sending to the customer and edit the source as well. But when I approve it, I can actually click approve that I'm happy, and it will prevent further editing. And one of the cool things with that is internally, all it does is just prevent you from making any additional changes to it. But automatically, we can choose or not choose to use the approval functionality. But what we can do is get a review response. And one of our functionalities here is return only approved responses. And so this is really nice because it can allow us to create this human moment of, do we want to auto respond to this thing or not? If true, it'll only pull in when that little toggle is clicked approved. If false, it'll just, you trust it. You don't want to do the manual piece. A lot of people, after using it for a day, I don't want to be manually approving these. They'll just let it run. So we'll go ahead and click trigger, and it'll pull in any review responses that I currently have in my account, which you'll see that one just came through for Steve Grumber, 1 out of 5. And you'll see here now we've added this new bit content, which is the actual response to the Google review. Then all we have to do is make our part 2 second step, which is Google profile, Google business profile. And what you'll do is create a reply. Now, one of the really cool things about the reply functionality inside of Google My Business is that you actually don't have to specify the location provider. When you get the reviews, you do. So if you have 5 locations, you're going to have one of those part 1s for every single location. But for the responses, you actually just need to put in the ID of the review because it aggregate, they're all different. So it'll just put it to the right location and respond over inside of Google correctly. But this is really nice because basically it lets you do 2 things. It lets you respond quickly, and it lets you get eyes on it if needed.
Thank you everyone for joining episode 2 of Automating the Trades. If you are interested in implementing any of these apps in your business or anything similar, getting eyes on your technology, on your automations, be sure to reach out in the link in our description. We'd be happy to chat with you.